French farmers are dumping tons of cow poop on government buildings, German tractors are blocking cities, and Belgian farmers are bringing Brussels, the European swamp, to a crawl. Are the Canadian truckers going global? For the past year and a half, Europe has been seized by what's been called a peasant war, setting the global warming elite against the farmers who feed the country on which the global warming elite feeds. It kicked off in earnest with the Dutch farmer revolt early last year, which culminated in a big electoral upset, with the pro-farmer, right-populist Party of Freedom winning the largest number of seats in Parliament. The party has been so far shut out of power since Holland is run by a center-left uniparty, much like America, but it shook up the elite, who is starting to think they will lose. So I mentioned in a recent video the near panic at Davos at the increasing prospect of Donald Trump and his European equivalents actually gaining power. The past few months, the protests have now spread to France, Germany, Italy, Poland, and Belgium. The European media has largely embargoed the protests, trying to downplay them, but the farmers are not shutting up. In Germany, they're blocking freeways, and in France, the government had to dispatch armored vehicles to try and prevent farmers blockading the main food market for the city of Paris. What's driving the anger is environmentalist mandates that are impoverishing farmers and driving them to bankruptcy, along with inflationary fuel and energy prices, again exacerbated by EU policy that shot at Vladimir Putin, but ended up hitting farmers square in the chest. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. As in America, Europe's elite look at blue-collar workers, so farmers, truckers, manufacturing, with utter disdain. And so their first reaction is to dismiss or even punish the protesters, as they did in Canada. But apparently the European farmers have overwhelming public support. One recent poll in France said 89% of voters agree with the farmers. So they've had to take them seriously, since that is pretty much everybody. France just appointed a new prime minister who said he would put agriculture above all else and offered some token gestures like scrapping a new diesel tax. But the farmers want a lot more, specifically to scrap the so-called farm-to-fork strategy of imposing climate change and biodiversity mandates across their supply chain, which of course puts them out of business since their food has to compete with countries that are not ruled by global warming fanatics. So how does it end? If I had to guess, Europe's elites will try to buy off the farmers using taxpayer money, as is done in America, moving us towards a society where the policies may be suicidal, but anybody with an 89% approval rating is bribed out of the headlines. Of course, at some point you run out of taxpayer money. The EU is already running a $600 billion deficit. That's small potatoes compared to loot the Treasury Washington, but then Europe is closer to the edge already, especially in Germany given a recent court decision that is forcing them to cut spending dramatically. Either way, how Europe responds to its latest peasant war will tell us how far along Europe is to Washington's endgame of spend and destroy. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.